Hey Virgo, this reading today is for all of my single Virgos, and we're going to see what could be coming towards you in love within the next week. So this is for Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Please keep in mind, Virgo, it is a general reading, so it may or may not resonate, and you're always welcome to take what works and leave the rest. So let's get right into it, and let's see what could be coming towards you guys in love. Happy birthday if you are celebrating this week. I hope it's fabulous. All right, tell me what's coming for single Virgos. Alrighty guys, we're starting out today with the Four of Cups. This is interesting. I'm definitely getting the energy here of somebody who has a wall up, somebody who's pulling back. I almost wonder if maybe you've connected with somebody recently and now they've just like totally pulled back and they're not talking, they're not opening up, and you're like, what the heck is going on here? All right, tell me more about what could be coming toward Virgo. Okay, Four of Wands, which is a drastically different energy than the first card. Four of Cups is like pulling back, emotionally disconnecting. Four of Wands is like, I want to marry you. I want to build a future with you. So like, this to me is very big contrasting vibes. And I'm like, is this person giving you mixed messages? Like, are you connecting with somebody this week? You're getting to know them. And sometimes you feel like they really want to be with you and they talk about a future. And then other times they completely pull back and go cold. I wonder if it's a little bit of that vibe. Let's get one more card about what could be coming toward my single Virgos. King of Cups, interesting. Maybe somebody's overcoming their fears. So we've got this King of Cups energy, which is really beautiful. It's water energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. I almost feel like what's going on here, Virgo, is that you're connecting with somebody this week who's almost like fighting this internal battle. And what I mean by that is the battle is related to their comfort with opening up and being vulnerable within a relationship, okay? Because I do think that this indicates that there's somebody here for you this week who has very strong feelings. If we just look at these two cards alone, Virgo, these are actually some of the best cards to get in a love reading. It shows somebody who does want commitment, someone who wants to love us and somebody who wants to build a future with us. But we can't ignore the fact that we have the Four of Cups, which is somebody who's like holding back from sharing their feelings, holding back emotionally. And so that's why I'm saying, like, I feel maybe there's someone who you're involved with who does really want to commit to you, Virgo, but it might feel a little bit scary to them, right? It might be hard for them to open up. Maybe they're holding back emotionally. Now, the interesting thing with the Four of Cups is that a lot of the times we refer to that card as the card of missed opportunities. So maybe what could be happening this week, and we're going to look at it more, Virgo, maybe there's someone here who feels very strongly for you. You guys are starting to get to know each other and it feels scary because they can see the potential, but they also realize that if they don't overcome those fears, that they might not even have the chance with you. They might miss out on the opportunity. So I wonder if it's a little bit of that vibe where this person realizes that they need to start opening up and they need to start connecting and you know, really being open to this connection with you guys. Otherwise, they could miss out on that chance. So that's kind of the vibe I'm getting in the overall energy. So here's what we're going to do for the rest of the reading. Let's look more at this person and let's look more at you. So we're going to look at their overall energy this week, what they might be feeling, what they might be doing. We will look at the same thing for you, and then we'll look at the potential outcome. So let's see how this shakes out here, Virgo. Tell me about this person's energy this week, please. Seven of Wands. Yeah, okay. I mean, that fits really strongly with what we've already seen. This is somebody who I think struggles to put down their walls. I think this is someone who's probably been hurt before, Virgo. You know, whenever I see somebody who's like got walls up when it comes to love, I just feel like that comes from somewhere, right? I think that if we are defensive, if we feel like we need to protect ourselves, there's probably something that we went through that made us feel like we needed to protect ourselves. So it's understandable that someone can have walls up, but it's also challenging because essentially what it becomes is a blocking energy. So I do see that your struggle, the struggle here for your person is maybe about them really opening up to you and bringing down those walls. Tell me more about their energy this week, please. The Judgment card, okay? But they can't deny that there's a connection, right? The Judgment card is like an awakening type of energy of somebody who feels that connection. I often feel like the Judgment card indicates meeting somebody where we feel like there's that alignment. We feel there's compatibility. So I think your person is almost like having an internal tug of war this week, Virgo, where there is a big part of them that sees that there is something potentially really special here between the two of you, but there is also a big part of them that is scared to open up. Tell me more about their energy this week. Three of Swords. Yeah, that's what I said already. Okay. So the tarot is confirming your person's been really badly heartbroken before. That's what's lending itself to this really hesitant energy. Okay. This is literally what I was saying. I feel like the tarot is just confirming it, right? I am getting the energy that your person has had a really, really bad, devastating breakup. It was literally heartbreaking to them. Now, here's you come along, you're feeling the vibes with each other, and it puts your person in this very challenging position because maybe they thought they would never fall in love again. Maybe they thought they would never be in a relationship. But there's something here that's obviously very special with the connection, right? We don't get the Four of Wands and the King of Cups unless there's something really good there that could grow into something beautiful. You know what I mean, Virgo? So I almost kind of wonder if you end up meeting this person, however you guys meet, and maybe they never expected it. Maybe they never really anticipated having feelings for somebody again. And then they connect with you and they're like, this is so complicated because I feel like I'm falling for Virgo. But on the other hand, it's terrifying because I've been hurt before. Very interesting. Tell me what they could be feeling this week. The Moon. Lots of anxiety, lots of fear, lots of doubt. This is a card that tends to represent those hidden fears and insecurities, right? And so I think your person, I'm getting a lot of fear, okay, coming through for your person. A lot of doubt. Why would Virgo even want me? Should I do this? Will Virgo break my heart? Will I end up devastated again? Eight of Cups, is it safer to walk away? Right? They could miss out on a good thing. Remember, we talked about how the Four of Cups is missing out on a good opportunity. I do think when your person gets into that very fear-based thinking, if I'm being honest with you, Virgo, I do think they have moments where they're like, well, maybe I shouldn't explore this with Virgo. Maybe the safer thing would be to just walk away with that Eight of Cups. And that's the challenge. And we've talked about this before on my channel, Virgo, is that, you know, when we let our fear go into the driver's seat, we usually don't make the best decisions. And I do see a little bit of a risk of that with your person where if they let fear take the wheel, they might end up walking away from a potentially good thing. So the question becomes, can they overcome that fear? Tell me more about what they could be feeling. Yeah, there's the battle. It's the tug of war, right? The Ten of Cups is the happily ever after. It's like you're making them see the possibility that they could have happily ever after. And it's like they're fighting against it, but they don't want to fight against it. I hope this is making sense what I'm saying. You know, it's like on the one hand, Virgo, I feel like there is a huge part of them that really does want to give into this connection and explore this and to let themselves fall in love. But there's a big part of them that's also resisting it because of how badly they've been hurt before. But it's challenging because I think they do see a lot of potential here, and I think it's kind of caught them off guard. What actions could they be taking? What is this? Knight of Swords. Interesting. I mean, the Knight of Swords, it's air energy, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. It's somebody like charging forward. So it does look like they're taking some sort of action this week. Tell me more about what they might be doing. I don't know, you guys, the Tower. I'm not sure how I feel about that. The Tower is really, really big energy. It indicates a huge shakeup. If I'm being honest, and you know, given what I've just said about your person, they might do something in the heat of the moment without really thinking it through. Because the Knight of Swords is somebody who can kind of rush in, but they don't always think through things. Like sometimes they make a quick decision without really thinking about the consequences of that decision. And then the Tower is a huge shakeup. Like I wonder, Virgo, if you and this person might be starting to get to know each other and then all of a sudden they're like, I don't want to see you anymore. And you're like, what? What do you mean? I thought we were having a great time. Like it's that kind of crazy making behavior where they do something that's just completely out of left field and you're like, what do I do with that? What do you mean? Let's see what comes after the Tower. Tell me what other actions they could be taking. Three of Wands. I almost feel that what is happening for your person is that this connection that the two of you have, I think there's a couple things going on. I think it's almost like causing them to confront something significant and it's like an awakening, right? Because I think what I'm getting here is that they've kind of been living in this bubble, you know? I do think they've been hurt. I do think they kind of shut down to love and maybe they've been living in this bubble, you know, living their life, kind of playing it safe. The two of you end up connecting and it kind of throws everything for a loop because they've got these feelings for you that are developing and it scares the shit out of them. And they're like, what do I do with this? And then they have to start actually thinking about what they want to do. Unfortunately, like I said, with that Knight of Swords and Tower, they might do something kind of erratic this week. But then I also feel like the fact that the Three of Wands follows the Tower, it indicates that after they maybe shake things up between the two of you, they really start to reflect on what they're doing and why they're doing it, because the Three of Wands is connected to the future and what they want. And maybe they do something to really push you away this week, Virgo, but then they have this moment where they're like, what am I doing? Like, I see something here with Virgo. Why am I doing this? They might be on a little bit of a roller coaster ride this week, Virgo, and they might be taking you right along for that ride. Interesting. Let's look at you. Let's take a look at that. Two of Wands. Yeah, I mean, you're not really sure where things are going. I think you're probably very confused. And yeah, it's tough because I think when we feel a great connection with somebody and then it gets messy, it's like, why, right? Like, and I think you're probably like, why can't they just let themselves fall in love? Like, why can't they let us just explore this? And as we saw, it's like they're getting overcome by their fear, right? The fear is doing the talking. Tell me more about Virgo's energy this week. The Devil, yeah, it's feeling super toxic to you. This doesn't feel good, obviously. You know, even though you have feelings for this person, it doesn't feel good when somebody does something erratic like the Tower. Like I said, my thing that I would say to you, Virgo, is that expect your person might do something that feels like it's coming out of left field this week. And I think whatever they do is going to be fear-based. I don't think it's necessarily going to be a logical decision. I think they might get overwhelmed in a moment and make a decision that is not a positive decision. Do I think they're going to reflect on it? Yes. So I do think it's going to cause them to reflect, but I think it's going to feel very like toxic and chaotic in the moment. And I think the Devil card is indicating that you're feeling not so good about what's going on. Tell me more about Virgo's energy. Five of Wands, yeah. And then you're conflicted, right? Obviously. So you're like, I feel we've got this great connection. I feel things are really good. And then your person is like all over the map. And you're like, what do I do with this? Because I think you see the potential with this person. But like, what do you do when somebody's all over the map, right? So I think that Five of Wands is you feeling that internal conflict where you're like, is this just a moment? Like, are they just having a bad moment and I need to give them a few days to calm down and see clearly? Or like, should I walk away? Like, is this a big mess that I don't want to be a part of? I think that's kind of what you're starting to think about this week. What could Virgo be feeling? Justice. I think you feel hurt by their behavior. I think you feel that it's like an injustice because you've done nothing wrong here, right? You haven't done anything to make them mad, to push you away, to go cold. It's not your fault. It's not you. It's them, right? So you're probably feeling really hurt about why they would push you away when you haven't done anything to deserve that behavior. What else could Virgo be feeling? The Sun. To me, this is the potential for happiness, but we have talked about this before, Virgo. You can't, I mean, you can. You do what you want. I feel like it is risky to be with someone based on the potential. And I feel like you are looking at this and you see the potential and you're like, do I wait it out to see if it turns around or do I walk away, right? What else could Virgo be feeling this week? Seven of Pentacles. You might give it a little more time. The Seven of Pentacles is a very patient energy, right? You might give it a bit more time. I feel a sense of maturity for you, Virgo. And I think that when this Tower moment happens, you are going to realize that it's kind of crazy. And you're like, that makes no sense. And I feel like you have enough wisdom to be like, I don't know what's going on exactly, but I know it's not about me. And I almost feel like what you're going to do is you're going to kind of step back and you're like, I'm not happy with what's happening. It doesn't feel great, but you're going to give them a few days to cool off. Like, I think you're going to realize that if you try to have a conversation with them in the middle of a Tower moment, it's probably not going to get you guys anywhere. I think you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to step back, going to give them space for a couple days, and then we'll see what happens. Your energy is very patient with that Seven of Pentacles. What actions could Virgo be taking this week? Seven of Swords. Okay. Seven of Swords is a thief of the tarot, represents trickery, deceit. It honestly, like, what it is ultimately is someone like hiding something, right? Like if you're sneaking around, it's because you're hiding something. And I feel like you're trying to get to the bottom of what is going on for your person because there's a lack of clarity about why they're doing what they're doing. Now, we've talked about what that could be. I think it's a lot of fear-based behavior from being hurt before. And so you're trying to figure out, like, what are they not telling me? Because until they explain what's going on, you're not going to understand why they're doing stuff to push you away, right? So you're trying to get to the heart of it and be like, what am I not seeing here? Because from my perspective, we have a great connection, but then from your person's perspective, it kind of looks like they're freaking out. What other actions could you be taking? Two of Pentacles. Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be a big week for you, Virgo. As much as you feel there's potential here, I don't get the sense that you're going to stay in chaos with this person. You know, like if it doesn't turn around sooner rather than later, as much as you might like them, you have to kind of weigh the pros and cons of what's going on here. Because like I said just a moment ago, Virgo, it's risky to fall in love with somebody's potential, right? So if they can turn this around, like what I see here is that if there's a tower moment and they freak out and they do something to hurt you, but they like very quickly realize what they did and they come back and they try to make it up to you, okay, maybe you guys can work on it, right? But if they, you know, cause chaos and then they keep causing chaos and they're not dealing with their feelings, like I don't think you're going to stick around for that, right? So I really think what happens here is going to be contingent on how they manage themselves after that tower moment. What other actions could Virgo be taking this week? The Hermit, which is your energy. You're like going into hermit mode. You're like, I don't know what's going on. I want to get off this roller coaster. You're thinking, right? You're reflecting. I think you're trying to do a total assessment of the relationship. You're looking at the good and the bad. And I think you're trying to weigh out your options with that Two of Pentacles to figure out, do I give them more time? Is this a situation where if I'm a little bit more patient, it could work out and it could be okay? Or is it too chaotic where I just don't want to entertain it? Moment of truth. Let's see what the potential outcome is here. Clarity. Queen of Swords, an important conversation. Maybe not an easy conversation, but an important conversation. Nine of Wands. Definitely indicates you're feeling tested, but it can be a card of overcoming challenges. Ace of Wands. I'm going to be cautiously optimistic here, Virgo. Okay. I do think you guys could potentially work it out, but what I said a few moments ago stands. I think it is going to be dependent on how your person recovers from the tower moment, okay? Like I said, if they do something to push you away and mess things up, it's going to be up to them to repair it, okay? So what I see here with the Queen of Swords, I see them potentially coming towards you and explaining. And coming towards you and being like, okay, first of all, I'm sorry. And let me help you understand why I did what I did, right? So I think it's going to start with an explanation. And then the Nine of Wands does give the vibe of feeling like there's still enough here to fight for it, okay? I think if they come around and explain, it's because they want to fight for you, Virgo. So I think you could definitely see that. And then the Ace of Wands is kind of like that fun, passionate energy. It's almost like if you can get past this really big test early on in the connection, then you guys can focus on the good stuff. You can focus on the passion and the love. But I do think, I guess to kind of summarize this, within this new connection, I think your person's going to be scared and they're going to do something to potentially mess up very, very early on. And their ability to recover from that mess up is going to determine whether or not the two of you have a chance. So I think this week is going to be very eye-opening for this connection. And you're just going to have to see how you feel. As always, you have free will. You choose to do what you want to do with this, Virgo. But I do think it's very interesting. I think there is a lot of potential here, but it's almost like the energy this week is that your person's going to have to really see that potential and kind of get out of their own way and let the relationship develop. And if they do, I think there's a chance here. But like I said, if they have the tower moment and they don't recover and they still are causing chaos, that's a different thing, right? But if they can recover from it, there could be a chance here to explore it more and see where it goes. So that's what I see for you for this week, Virgo. If you enjoyed this reading, you know what to do. Give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And of course, I wish you love and happiness always, and we'll talk soon. Bye, guys.